So my dear brothers and sisters, years back in my home country, a popular local diocesan priest disagreed with his local bishop and decided to found his own church. And his decision, of course, gathered immense news coverage in the country because the Catholic Church in Uganda is known for being highly organized and one tight-knit entity everywhere you go. So a whole news cycle developed around this priest and his new church. And the bishops were writing all kinds of letters and a lot of things were going on. So I wrote an opinion piece for our national newspaper, the New Vision, that argued how flawed, first of all, the foundation of the new entity was, and how also the Catholic Church, by giving constant media attention to the new religious outfit, was in a sense giving a lot of mileage to the concerned priest and his new church. And the punchline for me in the opinion piece was a borrowing of the wisdom and the words of Gamaliel in the first reading that we just listened to right now. If it is of human origin, it will destroy itself. But if it comes from God, it will stay. So history is going to tell. Unfortunately, history proved that it was of human origin and somehow it kind of like disintegrated. And the man ended up in prison. So today in our first reading from the Acts of the Apostles, we hear that after the resurrection of Jesus, there arose a sort of a Jesus movement of some kind that disrupted the religious order, both in terms of doctrine and even in practice in Israel. So the Pharisees and the other Jewish leaders got concerned about this new Jesus movement that had arisen. And the religious leaders of the time cracked down on the movement through arrests and imprisonments. And in our first reading, we are painted a sitting of one of those sessions where the apostles were brought in and were being questioned. And Gamaliel stood up, one of the leaders stood up and called for better discernment of the situation that they had at hand. And he argued, as we've heard, if it is of human origin, it will destroy itself. But if it is from God, it will stay. So let us be cautious as we go about whatever we're dealing with right now. From this reading that we have today, there are two lessons that we can be able to stay with during the day. The first is that history is always going to be the best judge of any spiritual initiative. If it is from God, nothing will ever stop it from flourishing throughout time. And the fruits that are going to come out of it are also going to be a big testimony about it. Nothing will ever stop it from going forward if it is coming from God. And if it is of human origin, certainly somehow it is going to fizzle out. I just want to draw your attention to the church that we belong to. The mere existence of the Catholic Church for more than 2,000 years, with all its internal imperfections, bears witness to the divine origins of the church or the institution that we belong to. As I've said in the past, great empires and great emperors and other leaders, great leaders have come throughout history, and then they just went out just like a morning dew. Yet this church, with all its imperfections, continues to garner wider membership and also expansion throughout the world. That, for me, in itself, is testimony of where it comes from. And it should affirm us, all of us in our faith, that you know what? God is behind this. God is behind this. This is not of human origin. The second thing that we can be able to look at is that we have to constantly keep asking ourselves, the way how it has been asked by Gamaliel. Are there ways that I'm fighting God? Might there be some ways that perhaps I might be fighting God? Time and time again, there arises promptings or stirrings of God's Spirit in our individual lives, in our own homes, in our workplaces, in our communities, but somehow we can end up becoming an obstacle to the workings of the Spirit of God. For instance, the Spirit may move a member of the family to start regular prayer in that particular home, but then one person can become an obstacle to the movement of the Spirit in this home. The Spirit of God may start a community or a country, for example, to treat kindly its homeless population. And you see, the movement is heading in this direction. But then an individual or a particular community may decide to stand as an obstacle to the movement of the Spirit in this direction. So we can be able to ask ourselves, is there any way I might be fighting God in my own life or in my community? It is a question that is worth pondering on for the day. May we today ask the Lord to strengthen and renew us in our faith, and may his grace keep our eyes focused intently on the risen one. Amen.
Amen.